Okay, this is the full story. I wanted to read to you the whole story so you can get a feel for the whole thing all together, and then I'll send all of the individual pictures one at a time. So, here we go. In the cold, dank mist of England's southern shore, a small boy was placed in the care of a sour old master tailor because his parents were too poor to feed him. Times were hard. People were as dreary as a constant drizzle, and worst of all, their imaginations left on holiday. The child's name was Tom, and Tom had to eat, so Tom had to work. There were other children at the tailor's shop as well, but Tom didn't fit in. He wasn't even invited to join the fighting club. He wasn't mean enough. On Sunday, when the apprentices were given a half day off, he wandered alone from the tailor's shop on Strawberry Hill. As he walked, he filled his handkerchief with strawberries for lunch. The old master tailor had made it clear he wouldn't feed him if he wasn't working. No bother, Tom thought. He liked strawberries. So off he went to the seashore to look for seashells, watch the dolphins, and imagine anything he wanted. He daydreamed about silly things that couldn't really happen, like living in a house with his parents, sleeping warm, eating until he was full. And he saw himself creating beautiful clothes. Years passed, and Tom was moved from apprentice helper to apprentice tailor. Only then was he given a needle and a scrap of cloth to practice his stitch. He practiced every night. When the candle burned out, he practiced in the dark. He pricked his fingers so many times they became as sensitive as the feelers on a caterpillar's head. Tom made the most beautiful stitch patterns he could imagine. When he showed them to the master tailor, he just scowled. "You're wasting me time, you worthless urchin." He threw the cloth in Tom's face and grunted, "Crude stitches, crude cloth, crude clothes. When will you learn to fit in?" When Tom showed his stitches to the other children at the tailor's shop, they grabbed the scrap of cloth away from him and pulled out all the stitches. They huddled around him, cackling, pointing fingers, and pushed him down to the dirt floor. Every time he stood up, they pushed him down again, taunting him with a mean-spirited song. "Tippy Tom Tippet wants to skip it. When off from work we go. He'll practice all night while the rest of us fight, but he'll never get to sew." Tom ran away trembling. He kicked steaming rocks down the road that led from Strawberry Hill to the seashore. "I'm so stupid," he scorned. "After all, stitches are just stitches. The world is a crude place. What can a worthless tailor's apprentice do about it?" At the seashore, something extraordinary happened. When he sat on the sand, the clouds parted, and the sun spilled its golden light onto the scene. It was warm, life-giving light, and Tom wrapped himself in it. His anger melted away. He lifted his palms and face to the sky and filled his lungs with sea air. 3 dolphins rose out of the water as if he had conjured them. They surfed back and forth on the waves. They stood on their tails and ratcheted friendly greetings, then flipped into the air. Tom's spirit rose, and he felt happily diverted. He stood up laughing, tossed strawberries to the dolphins. They caught them in their mouths and called back thanks. One of the dolphins swam close to Tom, staring straight into his eyes, and the trio chattered a dolphin song. As Tom listened to the music, he heard a voice in his head. "Fine stitches make fine clothes. Fine clothes make fine friends. And fine friends make the world a better place." The words made him feel strong. He decided to always be hopeful and avoid anger. That night, as Tom practiced his sewing in the dark, his fingers moved fast and light. His patterns grew astonishing. He made the mistake of drifting off to sleep without telling his fingers good night, and without putting his sewing tools away. As he slept, he dreamed of fine stitches, and he dreamed of fine clothes, and he dreamed of fine friends, and he dreamed of making the world a better place. To his astonishment, when he awoke, he was dressed in the most majestic clothes ever seen. They were exactly the form, fit, and style he had imagined. It was a perfect surprise and a perfect morning, except that his bed sheets, his nightshirt, and his blanket were all missing. His new clothes had long flowing sleeves and a hood that hung down in the back, shaped like a dolphin's nose. All were embroidered in swirls, arcs, and rays, with the most exquisite stitches. When the sour old master tailor saw Tom, he yelled, "You're a waste of cloth. You'll never fit in." With that, he threw him out of his shop and into the street. Tom felt strange. He felt two emotions at the same time: the sting of rejection and the excitement of a great eagle being released from a cage. He knew he was in trouble. He was without home and without work, but he was also without fear. His heart soared as he walked through the narrow cobblestone streets. In the marketplace, everyone looked at him with awe. People stepped out of his way, and many bowed. The king's valet happened to be shopping for King Henry that morning. Looking at Tom, he wondered why he had not met this elegant nobleman before. He introduced himself and invited Tom to the castle to meet the king's court. The noblemen and ladies nodded with respect. They shook Tom's hand and touched his clothes. They were inspired by the fineness of the stitches and the majesty of the design. They held their heads high and walked with grace when Tom made new clothes for them. Tom became indispensable to the court. The king quickly ordered a grand ball in Tom's honor, and all the guests arrived wearing the new designs. The king presented Tom with a patent of nobility and granted him the title of clothier to the nobles. King Henry ordered his craftsmen to build Tom a tailor shop with a home on the second floor. Soon, Tom and his family lived together. The clothes they made were sought after by the nobles and all of England's finest people. Tom's daydreams became reality. The warm, hopeful emotions Tom wrapped himself in helped him stay strong and act boldly as he imagined a better world and then created it. The end. And now I'm going to end this video here, but then I'm going to do another video and post it that is the facts about the fairy tale, and these facts will be posted, or will be printed right in the book at the end of the story, and they actually play an important part in the story, so that's why I'm sending it. But I didn't want you to have to listen to the whole thing, the story and the facts, in order to separate them. Anyway, see ya.